we're not able to travel at the moment. But actually, the real benefit of that, I think, is that we've got a huge representation of people from across the globe. So it's fantastic to have you all here. Really pleased to new faces and some very familiar old faces who've been involved in INTRAC for a number of years. So welcome to you all. Just in terms of housekeeping, it would be really helpful if people could turn off their microphones and cameras while they're not speaking, just because of the volume of people. That would be wonderful. I'm just going to provide a brief overview of INTRAC and an orientation. But before I do that, I thought it'd be interesting just to see who's here from across the globe. So we're just going to set up a quick poll to get a sense of continents and representation across the piece. So you'll see that come up on your screen. So if you just click on where you're from, we'll have a look at the results of that and the representation in a few moments. In the meantime, I thought there's a number of you, as I say, who are new, which is fantastic. We're delighted to have you here. We thought it would be useful just to give you a quick overview of who's on our executive committee, just so that there's a few faces that you'll get a sense of and become familiar with. So I'm Professor Emily Munro. I'm Director of the Institute of Applied Social Research at the University of Bedfordshire and a member of the exec committee. And if I go over to Adrian, could you just briefly introduce yourself? You're still on mute.
I realized I thought I'd unmuted, but I was a bit sloppy. Hi, everybody. My name is Adrian. I'm a professor of social work at the University of Johannesburg in South Africa. And it's lovely to be here with all of you today.
And thanks also to Adrian and Tahila, who are managing all the technology, because I'm a technophobe. So thanks to them for that that's going on in the background. Tahila, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. Hi, my name is Tahila Rafaeli and I'm from Israel, from Ben Gurion University. I'm the head of the youth studies at the Department of Social Work.
Brilliant, thanks. And over to Evan. I haven't seen Evan yet. Is she here? Perhaps.
I also haven't seen her. No.
So Evan Brady from Trinity Dublin is another member of the exec committee. I'm sure she'll join us in a moment. Rowan?
Hi, I'm Rowan Ibrahim. I'm an assistant professor at the German Jordanian University, obviously based in Jordan.
Great, thanks. And Varda?
Hi, my name's Varda Manfeder, and I'm a professor in the Department of Applied Human Sciences at Concordia University in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, where it's morning.
Great, thanks. And then finally, Ingrid has had a huge amount and a really important role in planning for this event while Evan was on maternity leave. So do you just want to say hi, Ingrid?
Hi, everybody.
And thank you for all your input. So that's the executive committee. I'm just going to do a quick overview now of what INTRAC's about and just a bit of a story of the history.
Emily, just a second. Can you see the result of the polling right now?
I can now see that. Brilliant. Okay, so we have 42% European representation, 6% from Australia, which is pretty good going given it's the middle of the night. North America, 22%, Africa, 25%, and Asia, 5%. So that's really fantastic. Great to have you all with us. So can you just pull up my slides, Adrian? Is that all right? Adrian or Tahila?
Tahila, can you just cancel the poll share, and then I can share screen the slides.
Brilliant. Well, while those are coming up, I will just give you an overview. So INTRAC was established back in 2003 by a group of researchers who had a shared concern about poor outcomes for young people leaving care. We were initially a group of 16 from a slightly random selection of countries, but predominantly European, with a significant overrepresentation of people from the UK. So there was a question about how international our international network was, but actually it was really productive in terms of a commitment and shared interest in really working to understand more about the experiences of care leavers, and also with a commitment to improving poor outcomes for that group. And we've certainly now been on a journey towards more global representation and dialogue from the global north and global south. And these global events, which are now biannual, are really part of that commitment to driving forward that agenda. And so it's fantastic to see that at today's meeting we've got 102 signed up from 38 countries. So we're definitely on the journey to greater representation, which is fantastic, and welcome to you all. That's brilliant. So just in terms of housekeeping, thanks very much to all of you for turning off screens and cameras while you're not speaking. That just really helps when it's a huge group. If you do want to speak, please use the hand raise function, and also make use of the chat function. I'm conscious that with such a big group, we won't all manage to speak as much as perhaps we'd like in terms of the conversation and dialogue, but someone will keep an eye on that chat so that we can try and feed in reflections and questions through that medium. I'm conscious I've been speaking quite fast, so apologies for that, and just a reminder that we're not all native English speakers, so please speak slowly. It is a large group, but there'll definitely be opportunities to meet in smaller groups over the course of the next 2 days. And also, just to highlight, the session will be recorded and posted on the INTRAC website. So I'm conscious that not all of you will have been familiar with INTRAC in the past, and a number of you aren't necessarily researchers in this field, but you've got an interest in the area, which is great. But in terms of the strategic objectives of INTRAC, it's really a community of researchers with a commitment to facilitating dialogue between care leaving researchers across the globe, thinking and promoting the development of emerging researchers. So we've got a proactive PhD group called CORIT, Community of Researchers in Transition, and a real commitment to supporting the development of researchers in this area. A commitment to promoting cross-national research on leaving care, and I think over the years that's something we've certainly been developing as our understanding of similarities and differences in care leaving policies and practice, language and terminology has developed over time. We're interested in creating and supporting opportunities for publications, and again that's something that's certainly evolved over the years with more collaboration on joint papers. And also facilitating and utilising research findings to inform policy and practice is a key commitment. And the other thing I thought was just worth orientating us to was that actually there's a shared understanding that this group of young people have a set of rights, and that's a global mandate via the UNCRC. So the guidelines for the alternative care of children really recognise the importance of preparation and planning and equipping young people with social and life skills to support them into independence, focus on the process of transition, taking into consideration gender, age, maturity and young people's particular circumstances, and also providing aftercare support, so thinking about ongoing educational and vocational opportunities and access to social, legal, health services and appropriate financial support. So I think the US might be the exception. I don't think you've necessarily ratified, but for the rest of us, I think that's sort of quite helpful in terms of orientating us to a set of rights that this group of young people have and the responsibilities that states have towards them. So now I'll just move across to the agenda for today. You've heard from me. We're now going to move into small groups, which you will be filtered into as if by magic, courtesy of Adrian and Tahila, so that you can just meet a small number of people and have a bit more of a conversation in a smaller group. We'll then return to presentations from Professor Mark Courtney and Rowan Ibrahim about their research programs. And again, one of the things that will be really helpful is just that opportunity to have discussions around the lessons that they've been learning from building their care leaving research agendas. And then we'll move on to a session which really helps us think about Global North, Global South dialogue, with Kwabena and Gertrude presenting on their work in Africa, and John Pinkerton and Adrian Van Breda discussing and reflecting on Global North, Global South dialogue. And again, there'll be opportunities for discussion as a larger group around that. And then finally, Evan will close today's session. We've got a fantastic agenda tomorrow as well. I won't go into the details of that, but broadly speaking, there'll be an opportunity to meet in thematic groups, and also we'll be presenting the findings from our survey, considering and exploring the impact of COVID-19 on young people leaving care across the globe. So that's it from me, you'll be pleased to hear. So over now to Varda, I think, to just split us into small groups, and then we can take it from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Emily. Momentarily, Tahila is going to randomly assign us to breakout rooms where in groups of 4 or 5, we'll have the opportunity over 10 minutes to introduce ourselves, talk about where we're from and what we do. And so this is our first interactive opportunity for these 2 days. So I'm going to invite you to allow Tahila to magically usher us into those rooms. And my understanding, Tahila, is there will be a warning towards the end of our 10 minutes in the small breakout rooms, at which point we will be once again magically returned to the large group space. Okay.
Exactly. You'll get 60 minutes, 60 seconds warning.
Fantastic.
Okay. So now we are sending you to the different room.
Wonderful.
Great, thanks.